Claudio Cabrera. I'm the VP of Audience and Newsroom Strategy at The Athletic.
So I'm here with Claudio at the PRWeek Sports Conference.
Great to be here.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you think, I guess, the importance of communicators and professionals in the PR industry coming together to talk about sports in this kind of setting?
I think it's a great question. I think more than anything, it's really just understanding and being able to kind of listen to a lot of the sports brands in different spaces, right? You had Tiger from Bleacher Report, who focuses more on the social and video aspect, and you have The Athletic, which is more focused on the written word, right? So them being able to kind of hear from us as to what works when it comes to pitching and reaching out about their specific clients is important, because I think each organization is different, and at the same time, each organization is evolving. A year from now, 2 years from now, we may be able to say, hey, just pitch us a ton of video, right? Because we'll be creating video at such a rapid or a mass scale that it's going to make sense to pitch that. But right now, it feels like we're still in that written word component, though we're evolving. And I feel like this provides a lot of these PR professionals the chance to just kind of learn about the different aspects of media and how to approach them.
So you just came off of a panel entitled Sports Media, What's Today's Story?
Yes.
So I'm going to turn that question to you. What is today's story?
Sure, of course. So, I mean, today's story, for the most part, I feel is one where you're thinking a lot about the distribution methods. One thing that's really central to my job is how do we attract new audience, right? You have things like Google, you have things like Facebook, Twitter, and more, but you also understand there's other aspects, specifically in sports like Reddit, which has a huge sports community, and it's an area that we really want to make sure that we gain a foothold in. And then there's video, which is tricky because many years ago, a lot of brands didn't want to invest in video. They didn't want to invest in TikTok or Instagram because the automatic thought process was, well, they're going to stay over there. They're never going to come back on website. And that still may be the case, but I think a lot of brands are evolving to really kind of understand that these platforms are essential for you to create a brand, for you to create visibility. And even if those 21, 25, 30-year-olds may not necessarily be subscribers of The Athletic right now, and may not necessarily subscribe in the next 2 or 3 years, they may be able to build a relationship with the brand that's still just as valuable. And maybe in the future, they'll be able to convert into someone who's more of a paying member for the product.
Sure. You kind of mentioned it here and touched on it in the panel. You were asked, what is the biggest misconception in sports media right now? And your response was that consumers aren't reading anymore. Yeah. I would love for you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think when you look at sports media, it's become, I believe, the central hub for podcast, video, so many different things you could imagine. Streaming at the same time. A lot of streaming celebrities are really cool with a lot of the athletes across different sports. So you've seen that intersection really happen a lot. And I think from a young person's perspective, that may be an argument that could be made, like, oh, maybe a lot of young people aren't necessarily reading content in the same way because they're so used to the video channels. But I do believe there is another segment of the population which is still huge, which grew up on reading content, and also the younger audiences too, that still want to consume the written word. And they may consume it they may consume the written word, but they may consume it as well from a podcaster, and they may consume it as well from a streamer. So I think now more than anything, I think the conversation has gone far in the direction of no one reads, everyone just watches video. And I'm like, well, no, there's more people that watch video now for sure, but there's people that still read. And I think the culture of following your local beat reporter at your local newspaper and reading their content still exists. And I think we're a prime example of that. And I think there's a lot of local newspapers I would tell you the same.
All right. And we'll just leave it on one last thing. What kind of message would you give to communicators, journalists, PR professionals regarding sports? What is your, I guess, big picture statement to make to them?
I think of everything that you're doing from an impact perspective, right? Some stories are naturally in your head going to be bigger than others, right? If you're pitching Mookie Betts is going to give away 100 tickets versus Mike Trout giving away 5, that's probably a bigger story, the Mookie Betts one. But I think there's always a way to raise the stories or the clients that you're pitching in a manner that feels like it'll fit with the publication that you're going after. And I think the more that you can do that, the more your success you're going to see. And really just understanding that, hey, I have a client to pitch, and I could pitch him or her to 20 to 30 websites or 20 to 30 publications. I have to understand that I can't copy and paste everything. I have to understand that I have to take a custom approach. And I also, at the same time, maybe have to accept that maybe 20 or 30 of these don't make sense. Maybe I should write 5 or 10 really, really good pitches and see where it gets me. So I think the more that we can think about the impact versus the volume is going to be important.
Thank you very much, Claudio.
Yeah, of course, brother. Of course. Thank you so much.